Hello dear students, after completing the first chapter of costing, integrated system of accounting, now I start the next chapter, that is non-integrated system of accounting. I hope all of y'all have followed the entire chapter, integrated system of accounting, and don't forget what I told you on the very first day while doing integrated, that if you know integrated properly, 75% of non-integrated also gets done. How? That now you will see in today's session. And I had mentioned on the very first day while doing integrated that when I start non-integrated, on the very first day, I will take a sum where I will solve the sum with integrated as well as non-integrated. I've already solved the entire sum as per integrated. You all know it very well. It's a very basic level. And I'll explain you what is non-integrated, and the same sum we will solve with non-integrated. I will discuss each and every transaction, how it is done in integrated, and the same transaction, how it gets recorded in non-integrated. So after this class, your concept will become much clearer. And again, I am repeating, guys, those who have not yet followed integrated, please at least get 75-80% thorough and then come here. Otherwise, you will find it a little bit challenging. Okay, nothing to worry. Just focus on integrated properly. Majority of this chapter also gets done. Okay, now there is hardly anything to explain. Integrated, we know. What was integrated? Combination of financial accounting and cost accounting. What is non-integrated? On the very first day I explained in detail. When I say non-integrated, separate financial accounting, separate cost accounting. This video is open on YouTube. In the description box, I have attached the link of the first session of integrated. So if there is a confusion, please see at least the first class of integrated and then come back here. So non-integrated means separate records maintained in financial books of accounts and separate transactions recorded in cost accounting books. Separate accounts financial, separate account cost. Integrated में क्या था? It was a merger, it was a combination of both. Okay, now listen. One major difference between integrated and non-integrated. Not one major difference. There is one special account which takes care of the difference between the two sets of books. There's one special account which takes care between the difference of the transactions which are recorded here, and that account, which we will now use the word in each and every sum, is called as general ledger control account. Is called as general ledger control account. Alternative words, this is also called as cost ledger control account. Okay. It is also called as nominal ledger control account. Okay. Another word, many people also call it as general ledger adjustment account. All four are different names. If question doesn't specify anything, we will use the word general ledger control account. Of course, even if you use any of the three words, that is also fine. But I have a habit, I have a system where if nothing is mentioned, we will use the word general ledger control account. Okay, so we will use this word, and this word will not come in each and every transaction. Let me come to that. It will be very, don't get confused. It will come in those cases. It will come in those cases where here in integrated while recording the transaction where there were financial accounts. Financial account means debtors, cash, bank, all these are financial. Creditors. So wherever there was debtors, creditors, cash, bank, that gets replaced by general ledger control account. That is the reason I had mentioned on the very first day of integrated that many professors start with non-integrated first. I always start with integrated to make the concept clear. You will only agree to what I say. I have told you earlier also. Got it? So just I'll brief. Non-integrated system of accounting is a system where there is separate cost account and separate financial. Right from FIGC, you all are doing non-integrated only. Bookkeeping and accountancy, recording of transaction, FIGC, SYGC, non-integrated. FI, SY, financial accounting, non-integrated. So separate set of financial accounts, separate set of cost account is non-integrated. No company will follow both, either integrated or non-integrated. As I told you, if the company ka scale of transactions, the volume of transaction is more, they will follow non-integrated. And if the volume of transaction is less, they will follow integrated. Got it? Chalo. Now, I have made that extra sum. You all have it in front of you. As I told you, I have already solved the sum as per integrated, but I will discuss again each and every transaction and we will see how it gets affected here. Now see, this was integrated. I have made a journal with non-integrated and after I come here, I will continue a bit here. Okay, chalo, let's start. Now, the first transaction, material purchased on credit, 1 lakh. We discussed while doing integrated. When material comes in, we debit store ledger control account. If it is cash purchase, to cash, to bank or to cash bank. But if it is credit, to creditors. You know the logic now. We have done so many sums of integrated. So my entry is store ledger control to creditors. Now what I told you on the very first day also. Store ledger is cost account. Sundry creditors is finance. This is non-integrated, only cost. So जो cost का account है वो same रहेगा. So when I buy material, whether it is integrated, whether it is non-integrated, my debit will be stores only. So come to the entry first. Store ledger control account debit, that is 1 lakh. Just let me check the angle of the mobile. Yeah, sorry, वो थोड़ा light है, but it's okay. Store ledger control account 1 lakh. Now the question is, what do I credit? Integrated में I wrote sundry creditors. Now costing में there cannot be creditors. Creditors का account will be dealt by the accounts department which is handling finance. So यहाँ पे क्या करेंगे? What I told you. This is the major account which takes care of difference in recording between the two set of accountings. So here I have credited sundry creditors. Here I will credit general ledger. Let me pass the entry, then I'll tell you another detailed reason. So here it will be general ledger control account. So store ledger control account debit 1 lakh to general ledger control account 1 lakh. Store ledger control account debit 1 lakh to general ledger control account 1 lakh. Clear with this? Store ledger control debit 1 lakh to general ledger control. See, this means you know what? The logic is what? यहाँ पे I credited creditors. Here I credited general ledger control. That means this amount will be paid by the accounts department to the creditors. So यहाँ पे when I credit general ledger, that means this is payable on behalf of cost department. Cost department will not pay it. It is a book entry. There will be debits of general ledger, there will be credit of general ledger. End may you will see the final profit loss has to be the same. So this is just a book entry indicating that the finance department has to pay this amount. So here they will credit general ledger control. That means this is payable by the cost department to the financial department. You can keep this in mind. I can give you other explanation also, but that will be a bit confusing at undergrad level. Got it? So store ledger control to creditors. यहाँ पे store ledger control instead of creditors general ledger control. You can also write cost ledger control, which we call it as CLC, nominal ledger control, or general ledger adjustment. Use any of the word H1 and C. Got it? Clear with this? Now see, what was the next transaction? Of course, I can make out the question from the solution. WIP to store. This is what, see the question. This is material transfer to production. What I told you on the very first day of integrated. WIP control cost account, store ledger control cost account. ऊपर क्या था? Cost and finance. So cost remains same. This is cost. We are doing non-integrated cost accounting subject here. So this entry remains same. Remember I told you on the very first day, entry number 2, 4, 6 remains same. So this entry will be same as it is passed by the cost department. Remember, again I am repeating, no company will follow both. Either they will follow this or they will follow this. Big companies will go for this. Small medium sized company, if required to maintain cost, they will go for this. कोई भी कंपनी दोनों सिस्टम फॉलो नहीं करेगा. Got it? So entry will remain same. अच्छा, I'm not wasting time for recording narrations. Whatever narrations you record here, the same narrations will be recorded here. Let's not get into narrations at least for this particular session. So material transfer to production, same concept, same logic. I am not getting into that transaction. This session is just to focus on the difference between the two systems, not on the base of transaction that we have done enough in integrated. Okay. So my second entry will be the same, that is work in progress control account debit, that is 80,000 to store ledger control account 80,000. Work in progress control debit 80,000 to store ledger control account 80,000. Clear? WIP control to store ledger control, that is 80,000. Clear with this, guys? Got it? As I told you, I am not wasting time in narrations. Okay? Next. The combined transaction says wages incurred, paid and charged to production. That means what? Separate entry for pay, separate entry for charge to production. Got it? Now see, paid first. I have given a combined transaction, a wages paid and charge to production. So first paid, wage control to cash bank. What I told you, wage control cost, cash bank finance. This is non-integrated cost for your syllabus. We are doing costing subject. So debit remains same. So come to the transaction number 3. Wages control account debit 60,000. Okay. Wages control account debit 60,000. Now see, integrated, you wrote 2 cash bank. Integrated, you wrote 2 cash bank. So what I told you, the difference, this account. So instead of creditors, instead of debtors, instead of cash bank, you will debit or credit general ledger. So this I will credit again general ledger control account. So which control account debit 60,000 to general ledger control account 60,000. Which control debit 60,000 to general ledger control account 60,000. Got it? No narrations. Now, what you incurred that you have charged to production. What you have incurred that you have charged to production. So now what you will do? WIP. You know the logic of this. I am not getting into that. To wage control. Wage control cost. WIP used in cost. Both are cost, non-integrated. So the fourth entry also remains the same. Entry number 2, entry number 4, same. So you just have to copy paste. Again, I am repeating the purpose of this video shoot, this recording is to make you understand the difference between integrated, non-integrated. So after this session, all the remaining lectures of non-integrated, you get it in a more simplified way. Okay, so copy paste, work in progress. Control account debit 60,000 to wages control account 60,000 to wages control account 60,000. Clear with this, guys? Got it? Next, I've kept the same way transaction. Factory overheads paid and charged to production. दो पार्ट में स्प्लिट करना है. Factory overhead paid. We know very well. Factory overhead control to cash bank. Same thing. Factory overhead cost account, cash finance. Wherever there is cash bank, we will replace by GLC, that is general ledger control. Factory overhead control तो वैसे cost में आएगा ही. So same entry, cash bank की जगह we will credit GLC. So my next entry becomes factory overhead control account debit 60,000, 40,000 to general ledger control account 40,000. Factory overhead control account debit 40,000 to general ledger control account 40,000. Okay. Factory overhead control debit 40 to general ledger control account 40. Clear with this, guys? चलो. Number 6. फैक्ट्री ओवरहेड्स मैंने पे किया. पे करने के बाद मैं चार्ज करूंगा. सो WIP टू फैक्ट्री ओवरहेड्स, WIP कॉस्ट, फैक्ट्री ओवरहेड भी कॉस्ट, same transaction. So number 2, number 4, number 6, just copy paste. That's why I told you do integrated first, non-integrated will be very simple. Okay, so now the next entry will be same WIP to factory overheads. So work in progress control account debit to factory overhead control 40,000. Work in progress control debit 40,000 to factory overhead control account 40,000. Okay, WIP control debit 40,000 to factory overhead control 40,000. Okay, Next, what is the next thing? Finished goods produced from where? रॉ मटेरियल जाता है WIP में, वहां से गुड्स प्रोड्यूस होता है. यू नो ऑल द ट्रांजैक्शंस. सो फिनिश गुड्स कॉस्ट, WIP cost. Where I am coming to the new point which we are doing for the first time, there I'll focus more. Finished goods cost, WIP cost. Goods are produced, same entry integrated, same entry non-integrated. So here also it will be the same. So number 7, finished goods control account debit. How much it is? 175. And finished goods gets created from WIP. So 2, work in progress control account 175. Finished goods control debit 175 to work in progress control account 170. 170. Clear? Next, cost of goods sold. Number 8, cost of sales. Again an account used for costing. Finished goods control, again costing. So number 8 will also remain same. So if you see, of the first 8 transaction, 5 are same in integrated as well as non-integrated. Okay, so the entry will be same. Cost of sales account debit 1,60,000 to finished goods control account 1,60,000. Cost of sales debit 1,60,000 to finished goods control 1,50,000. Same. Got it, guys? Now, guys, be careful. Now we come to the important point. 9. Cash bank debit 2 lakhs to sales 2 lakhs. Cash bank finance, sales finance. But यहाँ पे cost है. So what you will do? Now see, guys, here na. So let's go step by step. Cash bank debit किया, goods are sold in cash, nothing mentioned. Now whether you debit cash bank here or you debit debtors, ultimately it's GLC. So let me first do the debit part. So instead of cash bank, the first thing what I will do is I will debit general ledger control account, that is the amount of sales 2 lakhs. Now guys, just be careful what I say for the credit part. What I say for the credit part. General ledger control account debit 2 lakhs. Now what I do for the credit part. यहाँ पे sales था. Now guys, listen very carefully. Students get sometimes confused. Boards में also there have been couple of sums in non-integrated where they have mentioned to write sales account. Suppose they tell you to write sales, they tell you to make sales account, then you credit here sales. Then you credit here sales. I'll show you both the options. If sales accounts nahi hai, so what you do, instead of crediting sales, we will straight away credit an account called as. ध्यान दो, यहाँ पे क्या है, number 10, number 11, 12. Last three entries में you can see P&L. Now only P&L is finance. You all have done last year SY में also. Contract costing में, process costing में, reconciliation में, there is something called as costing P&L. So cost accounting में, instead of profit and loss, you will credit costing P&L. So where the question doesn't tell you to make ledger accounts, where it is not mentioned to make sales account, in the entry for sales, you straight away credit costing P&L. So general ledger control account debit 2 lakhs to costing P&L 2 lakhs. General ledger control account debit 2 lakhs to costing P&L 2 lakhs. General ledger control debit 2 lakhs to costing P&L 2 lakhs. Got it? When there is no sales. Now I'll tell you. Suppose there is sales, then we will credit sales and ultimately sales will be transferred to costing P&L. So I have just made a direct entry. आगे जाके in our regular class we will see the situation where sales account is mentioned. Question बोलेगा prepare sale account, then you have to credit sales because I cannot do this. Because अगर मैं ये करूंगा तो मेरे कोई भी entry में sales account आएगा ही नहीं. Reason I will be doing this is because I'll be doing that is there are a couple of sums where the question tells you to make sales accounts in non-integrated. Integrated में तो sale ही आएगा. So I'll repeat. General ledger to costing P&L. If I write general ledger to sales, next entry will be transferring sales to costing P&L. So there it will be sales to costing P&L. The net effect is same. Sales gets cancelled. So because this is a basic question, I am passing a direct entry to costing P&L. If the question doesn't tell you to make ledger accounts, if the question doesn't tell you to prepare sales account, then you do this only. Only when the question tells you to make sales account, you will do sales, and later on there will be an entry where sales will go to costing P&L. It's one and the same thing. Clear, guys? So this is the entry for sales. Next, what we have done here, P&L to cost of sales. Cost of sales can be termed as a common account for finance as well as cost. यहाँ पे भी we can use the word cost of sales, यहाँ पे भी. So I'll stick to that. Let's take it as costing only. Cost of sales, maybe there's a difference of opinion, but I'm not getting into that. So cost of sales, I'll take it as cost account only, what I told you. So I will credit cost of sales. यहाँ पे P&L है, यहाँ पे P&L है, वहां पे हो जाएगा costing P&L. So P&L gets replaced by costing P&L. So my 10th entry will वहां पे क्या है, P&L to cost of sales. So here it becomes costing profit and loss account. कितना है cost of sales? 1,60,000 to वहां पे cost of sales, तो यहां पे भी होएगा cost of sales because that is cost. So to cost of sales 1,60,000. To cost of sales 1,60,000. Got it? So see, यहाँ पे cost of sales debit, यहाँ पे credit, cost of sales is out. Now see next, sales to P&L. ये entry in this sum it's not required. When it will be required? Suppose यहाँ पे मैंने costing P&L की जगह had I would have written here sales, costing P&L की जगह had I would written here sales, then in that case I would have passed this entry sales to P&L. यहाँ पे मैंने पास किया होता sales to costing P&L. But as I told you, मैंने entry में sales account रखा ही नहीं है, so that transaction coming here doesn't make sense. That transaction coming here doesn't make sense. Clear with this? Got it? And now see, last 12th entry, 40,000 का profit आया यहाँ पे. How you got 40,000 का profit? You all have done it. These are the only two transactions connected with P&L. Credit of 2 lakhs, debit of 160. 2 lakh minus 160, you got 140. We have done it in regular lectures also. Now see, एक चीज ध्यान में रखना, profit under integrated under non-integrated. Final entry. Both the cases has to be same. Final entry under both the cases has to be same. There will be a variation. There is one sum which has come in the boards that if there is a difference you have to reconcile, but वो point में मैं जा ही नहीं रहा हूँ. In this case, दोनों केस में profit has to be same. How I got 40,000? I took the credit of P&L minus debit of P&L. P&L is there only in the last two transactions, 10 and 11 entry. Okay, credit of 2 lakhs, debit of 160. Now listen, यहाँ पे to find out the profit, I see P&L. यहाँ पे क्या करूँगा? To find out the profit, what I will see? Costing P&L. To find out the profit, what I will see is costing P&L. So now see the entries connected with costing P&L. देखो यहां तक कुछ भी नहीं है. नंबर 9 credited costing P&L. Number 10 debited costing P&L. So costing P&L credit 2 lakhs, costing P&L debit 160. So 2 lakh का credit, 160 का debit, 2 lakh minus 160, 40. Profit loss at both the places has to be the same. Profit loss at both the places has to be the same. So यहाँ पे भी 40,000 का entry. Now the thing is, what will be the entry? यहाँ पे मैंने क्या किया? P&L को डेबिट किया. Understand the logic? Now this is the main entry. Focus on the last entry at both the places. ये तो तुम्हें पता है. P&L to reserves. Again, I'll repeat what I told you in the regular lectures. If it's a company, it will go to reserves. If it is a firm or a partnership firm, sole trader or a partnership firm, it goes to capital account. यहाँ पे मैंने assume किया है companies or reserves. Now come here. Can I say वहां पे P&L है? Credit of costing P&L 2 lakh, debit of 160. So 2 lakh minus 60, 40. So 40. वहां पे P&L डेबिट किया तो यहां पे मैं क्या करूंगा? Costing P&L. So यहाँ पे costing profit and loss account 42. What I told you, कंपनी रहेगा तो रिजर्व्स, सोल ट्रेडर पार्टनरशिप रहेगा तो कैपिटल. यहाँ पे डजंट मेक अ डिफरेंस. सोल ट्रेडर होवे, पार्टनरशिप होवे, एलएलपी होवे, कंपनी होवे, प्राइवेट लिमिटेड, पब्लिक लिमिटेड, we have our own account, the special account. So what I will do here is to general ledger control account. Got it? So वहां पे प्रॉफिट लॉस मेरा जाएगा रिजर्व्स या कैपिटल में. यहाँ पे whichever is the organization, let it be sole trader, let it be a partnership firm, let it be a company, here it has to go to general ledger control account. So it becomes costing profit and loss debit 40,000 to general ledger control account 40,000. Got it? Costing P&L debit 40 to general ledger control account 40,000. This is the difference. So if you see, यहाँ पे 12 transactions थे, यहाँ पे 11. Why? Because sales का we recorded a direct entry. As I told you, you will record entry for sales and non-integrated only when the question tells you to prepare ledger account and the question tells you to prepare sales account, then only. Otherwise, pass the direct entry general ledger to costing. Now guys, देखो यहाँ पे cut to cut जगह है, so I am not wasting time in total. You all take the total. Anyway, it's a basic sum, so it doesn't make a difference. Clear, guys? So this sum is a very, very handy sum, very important sum to make you understand what is the difference between integrated system of accounting and non-integrated system of accounting. Do this sum properly so you get the concept clearly. That's it. I wind up here. Again repeating, requesting you all, Those who are not yet thorough with integrated, please पहले integrated thorough करो. Integrated thorough हो गया, automatically 75% of non-integrated भी हो गया. Still there is a confusion. Go back to my first lecture, see other lectures of integrated, and then come back to this. And before y'all start watching the sums on non-integrated, please ये session को बराबर देख लेना. ये भी YouTube पे open है. You can watch it unlimited number of times. So that's it, guys. I wind up here. Hope you all found this very interesting. जिसने भी integrated बराबर किया है 110% you all have found it very simple. जिसने बराबर नहीं किया चांस है बराबर कर लो यार. That's it. See you all in the next class with the regular sums of non-integrated. Till that time, guys, please take care of yourself and please do revise this session. Take care, guys.